I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
You're also sickly. Get it? I'm sorry, I'm sickly.
Yeah, I know.
Because it kind of goes with your name.
People still say in the comment section, they still say, why is this girl apologizing every show?
I think somebody said we should do it more, we should have a more formal show where I say, I'm Vincent and I'm an apology.
They used to say, when I was in youth group, somebody would start laughing and then they would say, that was so funny, minus the fact that it wasn't. And then everybody start laughing at you for being such an idiot.
You came from such a corny environment. All right.
Yeah, but they thought they were cool.
Yeah. Our light just went off because the thingy for the computer is down.
Did it get unplugged?
It's unplugged. Yep.
This is a 2-bit operation.
All right. Well, let's just do this one dark. Let's see how people like it.
What? Really?
Yeah, you can fix it in the editing. This is Regular People by the band Pantera. For timely topical political commentary, you can hit us up at Middle America with Vin and Sori. This is for the big homie Kent. Look, there's multiple ways to get your song reviews, dear listener. My favorite way is the community option. $1 gated Patreon gets you in. You get sucked into an alliance. The alliances get together, pool their points, and that creates a selection. Another way to do it is the filthy capitalist option.
No, it's the I want to get shit done way. And that's where you pay either, well, it's $125 a month to be able to get your song reacted to. But if you've done 3 or more reviews with us, over the course of our time with this channel, then you get jumped down to the $75 tier. So it's either $125 or $75 depending on where you are. And
it's not month. You can do it for 1 month.
Yeah, I say a month
because a month like they are.
I know. That's because I'm so used to saying that with the Patreon thing. It's a review, not a month.
Good Lord.
Yes,
so you can do that via
get one song.
You have to do that. You do that via Patreon.
It's definitely my favorite way of doing things.
Or you can do it on PayPal. These poor people. You're the worst. All right. So there you go. All right. So this is Pantera, which we haven't done in quite some time. So I'm very, very excited. Shout out to the big homie James. Let's do it.
And shout out to Donald. So that the money that you sent us, one of them, the $100 is going to somebody who needs help, and then one of the $100 you said we could do whatever we wanted with it. And so I bought shelves for my kitchen, and so all the stuff isn't piled on the floor. Vin doesn't really care about organization, but it's very, very nice. I feel less stressed out. I've been stressed out for a very long time because of it, and finally I said, you know what? Thank you, Donald. Shelves.
Oh, I said, where'd you get the money for that?
Yeah, he was like, oh, where'd you get the money for shelves? And I was like, Donald.
Yeah, that's good. That's always good to know. It's always good to hear as a husband. All right, let's go. Pantera, let's go.
All right, ready? It's back. Give it weird.
It's time to stir the version.
Hear that bass? No! 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 Rewind it! No! No!
Most regular people would say it's hard to see why some of the rest don't walk with you. Most regular people would say it's hard to see why some of the rest don't fuck with this.
Don't do it.
Fuck with this.
You know what that reminded me of?
Oh, today at the store. You keep unplugging that. I told you to stop fucking around with that.
Your petty ass at Home Depot.
I know, that's exactly.
Messing
I was
with that
going to
poor
tell our
white
friends
lady.
about it. I don't care. Okay, so today I'm at Home Depot buying the shelves. Thank you, Donald. And when I'm there, I decide, wait a minute, maybe it's better instead of having a chrome shelf, I have a black one. It might look better in my kitchen. So I go back down the aisle. I'm wearing my mask. And there's a lady standing there, like literally this far away from this, like right in front of the section where you get the stuff. And so I walk up, I'm like looking, I'm probably like 4 feet away from her. And then I went in there and I grabbed my box. She goes, I have been having an issue with everyone around the store getting closer than 6 feet to me. She said, you need to stand back and have some patience. And I was like, I just immediately didn't feel like a Christian. I just felt like just me. And so I looked at her and I said, if you have a problem with the distance, you can take a couple steps back and stand over there. And she said, no, you can stand back and wait your turn and have a little bit of patience. I said, well, I'm not gonna do that, so. And she said, and then she had her mask around her neck. I don't know if you guys are aware, but masks are supposed to be on your face, covering your mouth and your nose. So I said, and if you're having such an issue with it, you should have your mask on. Or I told her to put her mask on. I can't really remember what I said. And then she goes, she coughs like that, all out in the open. And like, I had a couple of like really strong feelings. One was to smack her face when she did that, but I didn't do that. I held that back. Yay to me. And then the other thing was I thought I should take my phone out and record this lady because I could show the channel, one, how I am, honestly, sometimes. And also it would be a funny thing for you guys to see because I really think she would have reacted negatively. And then she just kept, so she did that and I said, wow lady, you have some serious issues and you need some help. And then I look back at the shelf and then I like pull the thing off that I want to get. She goes, no, you should stand back and you should have some patience. And I said, I'm not going to do that. So I said, how many kids do you have at home? She said she had 4 kids at home, but honest to goodness, she was older than my mother. So what I thought of like 2 seconds after she said that was I was going to tell her she was too old to have 4 kids at home. So, but then that didn't happen. It probably was better that way anyway because I was kind of like a little bit on the edge. And then I said, well, I have 5 at home, so you can wait. And then she goes, no. But the thing was, she had to wait because she was the one that was browsing. I said, if you don't know what you want and you don't want to be close to people, then back up and browse from 6 feet away. Don't stand in front of the shelf that everybody's getting stuff from. And she said, no, that's not how it should be. She said, I was standing here first, and so you should back up and wait until I'm done. I said, well, I'm not gonna do that, so. And then I walked away, and I didn't feel bad at all about it.
So, there you go.
I came back and I said, Vin, I need to tell you a story. I've shamed our family. Oh, that should have been a Patreon thing.
Yeah.
Because I usually, whenever I have my meltdowns, I usually share them on Patreon.
Yeah, like the Super Saiyan Sori.
Yeah, if you jump on Patreon, it's on any tier. If you look up Super Saiyan Sori, you'll hear what happened at the movie theater.
Yeah, one of these days, somebody's gonna make a mistake and usually I do. I just walking around in the hood. I had a friend. I'd be like, yo, one of these days, you're gonna mess with the wrong person. But one of these days, the wrong person's gonna mess with you. You just gotta control yourself, man. Like if
I know that.
If I was there, would you have comported yourself with more Christian dignity?
That depends. Probably, but I always get these thoughts in my head, like what to say and be or do, and then there are some times where I'm like, I know what the right thing to do is, but it was really, I wasn't even angry. It was just, I think part of it is, so you guys know, I grew up in a very controlling household. My parents were very strict, and I think the idea that some strange old lady is going to tell me what to do, back the fuck up, lady. You're not telling me what to do. No way. Get out of here. And what is she thinking? Like, who does that? Who tells somebody else that they should wait while she stands there browsing? Lady, browse online. That's what I did. That's how I knew what I wanted. If you want to browse online. And secondly, put your mask on if you're that concerned. But as if she went coughing all about like that, I was like...
I know, that could be... they're construing that stuff as assault.
Yeah.
So, she's lucky.
Yeah, I know. And that was how I felt about it. I was like... But that was when I wanted to slap her, was when she did that.
Well, I'm glad
I
you didn't slap her.
I said, that's right, we're pacifists.
I think I'm the only pacifist in my house, and
I am a pacifist in theory, but in all actuality, the thing is, you have said multiple times, you have, in your past, you have not comported yourself as a pacifist. So you were able to act out on some of that, and I wasn't.
Yeah,
and
but
so
you're
now,
talking about it like... it's like a kid who's like, Mom and Dad, you tell me not to smoke, but you still smoke. It's like, yeah. And that's a horrible thing to be addicted to nicotine and be a smoker.
Well, yeah, and I see what you're saying, but the non-smoker's not like, so it's a horrible thing to say.
Yeah, you're talking about it like, it's fun that it's not a fun thing to
I'm saying from my end, it's not fun to just let people push me all around. And who's this lady telling me what to do? No way. Get out of here.
But, yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, she wasn't pushing you around.
She was trying to tell me what to do. I don't want to be told what to do by her.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
What would you have said?
I know there's literally nothing I could say to you.
Oh, there's absolutely nothing.
Right.
There's no judgment that could come from you that I would even care about on this subject.
Yeah, I know. So that's why when you told me, I didn't even say anything. I was like, oh, okay. Because I'm like, she's not going to listen.
You're right.
Yeah, because you can't tell people, I know that if I tell you about violence or the rest of you know pretty much. I think you pretty much know various occupations I've had and whatever. So I know that there's nothing I can tell you. It's one of the reasons I don't tell you stuff. But I know that there's nothing I could tell you would ever be a credible where you'd be able to say, oh yeah, I should listen to me.
No, it's not that. It's just that I've been told all my life what to do. And so I don't want to be told by some strange person. And if you have a judgment about it, well, you know what? So does the rest of my family. So you guys are in good company. But I'm sick of it. And so I'm not going to go to the store when I need to snatch up something and I'm trying to get home to my 5 children. I'm not going to stand in there and wait for you to I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing it.
Right.
And the thing is, I've been in situations where I felt people were too close to me. And you know what I did? I took 3 steps backwards to get the distance. She could do that as well. Take a couple steps back. But she didn't want to do that. She wanted to control everybody else around her. If she was just going in and getting her thing and she was at the shelf, then I wouldn't have crowded her. But she was, 3 steps away from the shelf. I'm not going to wait for her to browse and then get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's the new it's the new way of doing things versus the old way of doing things, Mm-hmm. The old way you could sit around and do that and other people could do it too, but now you're in a new situation, but she wants to have her cake and eat it too.
You can't.
I understand. You can't have your cake and eat it too. White lady at
you can't.
At Home Depot.
Well, you can, but I'm going in there to get my stuff and I'm trying to get out of there. I know.
You are the worst.
I'm sure that there were cameras too.
I've trampled on that road.
So they would have seen her doing the whole...
that you think you own. You have that smart ass attitude. It's time to stop the fiction. I live it every day while your mind is far away.
Before you go through these lyrics, I have to say, this song made me laugh because it was like, it was petty, you know, like, it was petty, but it was fun, and I like I wouldn't want to be constantly around this sort of individual, but at the same time, it is kind of funny, and you know, it's kind of reminding me of teenagers. Because I know what you're thinking.
Okay. Yeah, very petty, very childish, very childish.
But as I previously stated, was there anything that you withheld from yourself growing up? If you wanted something, you did it. Well, I didn't. I exercised so much restraint and control on every area.
It is true. I kind of functioned like Johan. You know, I always did the arithmetic, and I was like, I'm going to get in trouble. I'll probably get a beating for this or whatever.
Control.
So I the only thing that
what I think pushed it over the edge too was my mother was at the store with me. I came around the corner, I'm like, I've got a story for you. Then we got outside, I told my mother about it. She was like, and then when I told her I almost recorded it, you know what she said? You could get sued. I said, no, you don't. You have, what is that thing? You have no,
you
whatever,
have no
privacy.
expectation of privacy.
Expectation of privacy. That was the
public,
words. Yep.
Public forum, yeah. You don't.
Yep, no, you don't, lady.
A lot of people think that, you know, they're like, don't take the camera off me. I don't consent to being recorded. It's like, you idiot. It doesn't matter if you consent or not. Mm-hmm. It's people. Believe me, we have attorneys. We know. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is
like, you know, they always say, sweet sorry. You're like, oh no, she's not like that.
I never had the sweet sorry thing. I always knew that you were a terrorist. I always did.
A terrorist?
Yeah, I always knew you were. Well, we used to have this. Yeah, I always knew you were a terrorist. So you definitely fit the profile.
Maybe only one.
In another life, you could have been an extremely effective, whatever. So okay, so. Regular people, the name of the song, and then it's got conceit in the thingamajiggy. So I trampled on that road that you think you own. I think like this is one of those like I'm the real one, you're fake. Like you know, this is I think Sarcast or Peter from our community loves this song because it's just dripping with testosterone. There, Peter.
Did you just dox him?
It's like no, and it's like you don't got the balls, son.
Yep.
Just like this, like it's
any streetwise son of a bitch knows you don't fuck with this. I like that.
Yeah. I fight for love of brother. Your friends fight one another. That's a very good line.
Yep. Like,
y'all dudes just came up, I just saw you. When you accomplish your goals is turmoil. Your gun's rusty, then get oil. Cause when you let another man handle your beef, it gets spoiled. The no smoking section, nah, go over there.
Go over there.
Find another chair, we rolling them L's here. The no shooting section, nah, go over there. Find another chair, we load them shells here. The niggas in your section wanna say hell yeah, and get your whole section 8 like welfare. You don't know about that.
No, you don't know.
Back to your regularly scheduled program.
I just want to point out all the kids are gone tonight. It's just the two of us.
Why would you say that? They're gonna go, why do they need to know that
Because
shit?
they'll be like, why are
Now the comment section's gonna get all
so happy tonight?
okay. I was gonna really chill out in the comment section here. Now it's gonna be all hectic. I'm out. I don't even want to see it. Yeah. So you know, it's just kind of like I'm the real one. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
I like that line though. I fight for love of brother. Your friends fight one another. That's a good line because that's kind of how it was with us in the hood. That's one of the reasons I wouldn't join gangs or let any of my other folks join gangs is because you end up fighting people
What
that
do you mean
like.
you met any of your other folks? That sounds like you're a leader of some sort.
I was. And I was saying we're not doing that bullshit because then we got to go and hurt people that we love because this guy has a problem with this guy. The fuck out of here.
But you guys weren't any sort of gang or anything?
No, we were not a gang.
You're just a group of young men that stick together and have a leader and fight. And
We weren't gangsters though. We weren't gangbangers. Like we weren't drug pushing. Like if you were in the hood, you would know there's a big difference between just a group of friends and like actual gangbangers. There's drugs involved. There's a whole ecosystem in
Well,
there.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
I mean, you wouldn't.
I was too busy being controlled.
And I'm glad. I'm glad you don't know anything about that. I'm also glad my kids don't know anything about that. It's a freaking horrible way to live.
They do. They know about Glocks.
Glocks. Dory doesn't know the first thing about a Glock.
He changed his mind. He doesn't like Glocks anymore.
When did he change? Well,
He likes an AR.
we had that discussion. We had the discussion in the car. He was talking, and I'm having my little conversation about life with him. He goes, "Well, what do you think about home defense?" And I said, "Well, I said, oh, who is the underdog in the David versus Goliath situation?" He said, "Oh, David." And I said, "No, Goliath was the underdog, you idiot. He was against God. God was the." Yeah, it didn't really resonate with him. So I told him, like, I said, "You don't need to have a gun in your house. You have Yahweh in your house. What you need a gun for?" And he was like, he basically said, and I said, even if I had a gun, I wouldn't go out and pull a gun if there was a home invader. I would just go, whatever. He goes, well, he basically said, "I'm not like you. I'm very skinny, and I don't like physical altercations. So I would just get the gun." Like, Dorian has he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He doesn't have this whole, like, oh, every man's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, he looks at himself, he goes, "I'm very skinny, I don't like physical altercations, and I don't want my face to be hurt. I have a very beautiful face." He does. He's a beautiful, and he's like, somebody comes in and he goes to try to take my property or hurt my family.
He starts with property.
I swear to God, that's what he said.
I know. I have these conversations with him all the time.
So like, he doesn't have any like the machismo that's dripping from this song. Like, Dorian is completely
My
bereft.
child, your pain, I rain on you.
Yeah. Dorian's completely bereft of that at all. He to him, everything is just about utility.
Yeah.
And so like, he in his mind, he's like, I don't have the physical or psychological makeup to go check some dude at 3 a.m. Like, I'm not that guy. So I tell people all the time, you have to know who you are and you have to know who you're not. He knows he's not that guy, and there's no shame in that. I didn't shame him for it. I was like, okay, I get it.
He didn't shame him for that. Didn't.
Well, there's no shame in that.
Well, I know that, but just
Dorian, he's
some
skinny.
people don't hear the things that you.
It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Nothing to say. So, he's not gonna sit there and get into this big jihad about, I have to go and kill the guy, with my bare hands to be a man. Like, he doesn't care about anybody's understanding of any of that thing.
No, it's interesting because he feels that the manly thing is to just use the weapon and be done with the situation. You know what I mean? Like, if you talk to him, like, the way that he views it for him, like, I don't think that he thinks you should do that for
manliness doesn't really factor into a lot of his decision making. Like, the only thing he really cares about is utility.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about whether or not he gets construed as a manly person.
Right.
Like, he doesn't care. He just his thing is he wants to be rich and he wants to live comfortably and in luxury. And so the only reason he would even assault the home invader is because the home invader is coming to fuck with his luxury. That's all he cares about.
Yeah.
So he doesn't care what you or anybody
He literally
thinks.
uses the word luxury.
He doesn't care about the concept of
He's
manliness
currently
at
living
all.
in the living room.
He doesn't.
Okay?
He doesn't.
We have an apartment, so him and his brother are in the living room.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He just honestly does not. He could care less. It's the same thing with Fortnite. Like, we're all in the middle of a giant firefight. Dorian wants to be like, safe. And, everybody will try to shame him. His sister, oh, you're a coward, da-da-da. He's like,
Doesn't matter.
He's like, well, you guys are dead, I'm here. So, there's that.
And he'll keep playing the game.
He'll
With
play.
all of his people dead.
Oh, everybody will be dead because we just died in this giant. It was a 3-on-4 firefight, so we're all dead because our fourth guy is out in risky reels or whatever. And Dorian just doesn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't care what names you call him. It doesn't even matter. His sister calls him a coward. He's like, yeah, I'm alive. You're dead. So, like, none of this stuff means anything whatsoever to Dorian at all. You know what I mean? Like, the only person, I don't think it really means much to Johan either. if Johan believes that he's doing the manly thing, he doesn't care what anybody else says.
Yeah.
Zoe, though, if Zoe was a dude, we would be able to manipulate her with that for sure. We would be able to manipulate, because Zoe's got a very, very strict code, and she cares a lot about people's opinion of her. But Dorian is a I wouldn't even say I wouldn't even say Dorian's a lover, not a fighter, because Dorian doesn't love many people right now. But he's very sensitive, though.
Yeah.
Very sensitive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very stylish. He has very, very good taste.
Yep. Yeah, he puts his little sweater on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. He's like, why would I get blood on this cardigan? Like, why would I do that? I could just
Oh man, that's so terrible.
try to take my shit. That's what he said. Somebody comes in and tries to take my shit. And, obviously my kids, yeah, them too, he says. He's like, they'll be upstairs though, Father. They'll be upstairs.
Oh no.
I would love to be on a fly on a wall, like hearing him talk to his wife.
Yeah.
Like having these conversations
Yeah.
and all the rest of it. Because he really doesn't see how it makes him look. And he doesn't care. It's all part of it. But this song is like, look, we're the real ones. You guys.
He asked me, he goes, what do you want me to do if somebody comes up and tries to take the credit card when I have it? You want me to just hand that over? I said, yeah. Matter of fact, if you know the PIN number, give that to them too. He goes, what? What? I'm like, all the stuff in the world is not worth your life.
But it is to him. His dream of living in luxury.
What? He said, he was so surprised. I'm like, how can you be surprised by this? I keep answering this question.
Oh my goodness gracious. But I think this song is about for like posers, like people who want to act like they're tough guys or whatever. Which is pretty much every high school kid at the time. And it depends. In some places it's just you're just trying to act like a tough guy. Because you think that's what makes you accepted. But there's other contexts where if you don't project a certain degree of aggression, it's not about people are gonna not like you. Like people come after you, and you actually invite physical confrontation when you present yourself as a docile person.
Yeah.
In some contexts. So for some people, it's a matter of survival. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I've actually never met a person ever in my life, either professionally or, in whatever, who was as tough as they projected that they were. Like, I've met people who were like really hard motherfuckers, but they never projected that they were hard. They were just, you could just tell that they loved they loved conflict, they loved contact, they genuinely enjoyed it.
Yeah, but there's people that project to be harder than they are.
But yeah, and then there's people that project to be hard. They talk, I can't wait to blah 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 blah. And then when blah 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 starts happening, then they get very, very small.
Why didn't you tell them I went left? Remember that?
Yeah. Exactly. Get real small. Yeah.
When the conflict happened, he hurried up and he exited and left the guy alone. And so the guy said, yeah, he left me.
Yeah.
He got scared, he left, and then he goes, why didn't you tell them I went left instead of saying I ran away?
Yeah, and then he said I had Nina with me, which is code. It's street code for he had a 9mm with him. Mm-hmm. So he was about to go, but homeboy, he was out. But you know what? Of all those people, he's still alive. A whole bunch of those people are dead that were on the scene that day, and he's still alive. So, call it what you want. Exactly. Call it what you want. He's still alive. So, hey, there's that. But I do think that line is important to me, though. I fight for love of brother, because that's how we were. Mm-hmm. And that is it's different than what at least in my mind, it's different than what I saw in other situations. Because when you were in gangs, you ended up fighting people that you genuinely loved. because they were not in the gang and they crossed somebody in the
Ugh.
gang, and so then you had to do the gang's bidding.
Yeah.
And so guys were, I remember this very one distinct one. It was the period right after lunch, and we'd all be on the tables at the lunchroom, and somebody would put a beat down, and we'd all be freestyling all at lunch, and everybody was getting along. Then we went to science class. We're going to science class for the 7th period, and Chris rolled up on this dude, jammed him up against the wall, and it beat him up. And I remember, like, I was watching the whole thing happen, and the guy sat like right in front of me, and then like one of the last guys that were jumping on him, getting their licks in, was this dude's friend. Like they were like from the beginning of the semester.
I couldn't do it.
They were just thick as thieves, and he's hitting this guy, yada yada yada.
I couldn't do it.
And security guards came and broke it up, and everybody went to class. Nothing happened. Nobody, whatever. And I remember going like, Antonio, what the hell? Like, you're friends with this guy. Like, what are you doing? And he basically said, look, there's nothing I could do about it. Don't ask me anymore because you're my friend too. And he walked away, which is basically, a veiled threat. Like, well, you're my friend too. So da-da-da-da-da. And I was just like, I went to my friends. Like, we were never, ever, 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 ever getting down with any of these people. Ever.
I couldn't.
I never talked to that guy again. Like, I had no use for him after that. I thought that was so weak. Like, but
what's he gonna do?
Exactly.
Once you join, that's it.
Exactly. Easy for me to say. In his situation was everybody in that neighborhood was cripped up. So he either has no friends or whatever, or it's not as simple as, we didn't, like, in my neighborhood, once you got to 170th, it wasn't really about Crips or Bloods, it was about our specific block. So it was our specific block. And then we had another block, like, right down the street, which we never went there and they never went there. There was never any cross-pollination unless dudes were shooting at each other, which is what happened. The guys came from Maine Street and shot up this dude over a girl, and then guys went back. So I didn't have to worry about Crips or Bloods. I was just in 170th, and somebody came to our specific block. We had conflicts with them, but you came to our block. So, like, I didn't know you, you didn't know me, so we didn't care. But this other, Antonio had, there's nothing but Crips there. All of his friends, all his friends that he grew up with, went to school with, all of them, in one summer, everybody got cripped up. So what's he gonna do? He's gonna be by himself, like,
right.
He could have been by himself, but there was just so much peer pressure and all that on him. Like, there's no way he's gonna.
Can they ever get out of that?
Well, yeah, because the Crips, I'm sorry to say, but the Crips were really not that hard. Now I tell you that one time, it was like I remember one time I saw like 6 Crips that were looking across because Truman had like these 2 exits by the flagpole, and then there were just two Bloods. There's a whole slew of those guys, a whole chapter of those guys, and they were looking like waiting for those Bloods to leave, and the Bloods, like, they were like out flagging, whole 9 yards, blah, 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 throwing gang signs up. They just walked right through, nobody touched them. Well, Bloods were different, these guys were slicing up old ladies and babies and strollers and shit. Like, these guys were real life sociopaths, whereas the Crips, they weren't like that. They were just, neighborhood stuff, yada yada yada. They were not really gangbangers. So it's not, I don't believe it's one of those like you can never get out. I just think Antonio was one of those like sidekick people. He was a sidekick guy. He was really small. So all his friends, all the people he looked up to, they were all Crips, and they were like, they were screwing with him.
Sliced my kid in the stroller.
Yeah, they were.
Gosh.
Yeah, well, yeah. It was pretty horrible. Those guys, they were. Yeah, I hated
Did
it.
something to the mother too?
No. You had to do that to get initiated, so.
A baby.
So, yeah. I mean, those guys were crazy. They'd ask you what time it is. You go to check your watch. They give you $1.50. I mean, just horrible stuff, man. Like, I mean, I think Jay Dispirited went to Truman. Like, he got so bad, so the Bloods, their code was 031, and that was October 31st. That was the big day of initiation. So every Halloween, the school would basically be a freaking
ghost town.
Ghost town. Like, tumbleweed, all that jazz, because like people wouldn't go to school because they were scared to death. So.
You think if one person went out, they'd get him?
No, because I went every year. But that was because I was stupid. Like my mom was like saying, you can stay home. I was like, fuck that. Let's stay. Fuck them guys. It's just plain blind luck that nothing happened to me. You know what I mean? Like I had whatever on me, or I had whatever on me. And
however you want to look at that.
In my stupid mind, I was like, oh, I got something. Well, good. What does it matter if you have something on you? I was never going to initiate that. I was not the type of person who's going to go initiate some altercation with a weapon. So, great. You have whatever, and then some guy comes up to you and gives you $1.50. Great. Then what are you going to do? I was going to go and do it too. Well, great, but you still have your whole face. How about you just stay home? Like, who doesn't want to stay home from school? But I was dumb, it was just stupid. And my brother always went to school, but my brother was like a wallflower. Like, people didn't notice him. He never got in any conflicts. Ever. I don't know how he did. To this day, I don't know how he does it. And now, now.
Yeah.
Guy's completely safe. Like, I worry about him and pray for him and, all that, because but then it's like, man, nothing's gonna happen to him, bro. Like, he was able to, whatever. But yeah, man, 031, those guys are crazy. I'll tell you, it was horrible. It was a horrible time. Horrible. And I was, there's so much stuff I would have told myself, but that's when I was telling Dorian, we were having the conversation about pacifism, and I said, look, I know that you think that Jesus is just a big hippie, and you think that it's about being a nice guy, and that Jesus is presenting like this idealistic Pollyannish world. And what I'm telling you is, that's not what he's doing with the turn the other cheek stuff. It is, it's about survival, and it's about breaking the cycle of violence. And it's about, projecting what's going to happen in the future if you continue this ticky-tack bullshit. But at the time I was young, nobody was telling me that stuff. Nobody was explaining that to me.
Would you listen?
It depends on who was saying it. If I had a father, like if I had a relationship like Dorian and me, I would have listened. I mean, even if my older brother would have sat me down and said, look, let me drop some science, let me explain this to you. And he would have been able to connect it to real life stuff, I'd have listened to him for sure. But, my brother never really had to apply turn the other cheek because he never got in trouble. Because he was so smart that he was never in a situation where that had to happen. I was an idiot. And so my brother ended up being in the role of basically, my brother was willing to sacrifice himself on a multitude of occasions because of my bullshit. And that's the kind of role he had to occupy. Like, he knew, he wasn't deluded. Like, I was completely deluded because I had, all this taekwondo and boxing and all this shit in my background. And I loved contact. I loved, it's like, Johanna just randomly throw himself on the ground, and because I just loved that contact. And what I found was that, surprise, surprise, most people don't like that. Most people don't like being hurt. Most people don't, so I was like, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. Well, my brother, he knew that these dudes weren't even thinking about fighting, like techniques and all this shit. Like, they were like, oh yeah? Like, you beat me up, I'm gonna get 5 friends. We'll kick the shit out of you. Okay, you have 5 friends, good. And I got a box cutter. Oh, you got a box cutter? Well, I got a gun. How's that? So, my brother was so much more like forward thinking. So I wasn't. So if he would have sat me down and said, look, this is what happened, da da da, because the closest I had to a father was my brother. So if he would have told me, I'd have listened to him. But by the time he could influence me or whatever, it was just too late, because I didn't even make it out of the second semester in 9th grade until I got in serious altercations with people. So he ended up being in the role of saying, well, I'll just die with him. Like, that's pretty much my brother. So there you go. And now he's big time. So there you go. Shout out to my brother. Good song.
I don't know if it was really great or if it's just I miss Pantera. I hate it when this happens to me.
Well, the riffage was crazy. I mean, between that Dave Mustaine riff and this riff, man, these guys, like, I don't want to say because there's nothing about time that produces or reduces a person's skill. But it just seems to me, early Metallica, Mustaine, Dime, it just seems to me that these guys were just on a completely different level riff-wise. I mean, if you listen to nu metal, it's like a lot of heavy nu metal was just basically one riff divided between like 48 bands. Like everybody who was doing a variation of the the blind riff. Like, I don't know. I don't want to say like these older guys, and obviously it was before my time, so I'm not even, but like, I don't know, man. These guys were just at a different level of writing. I think you have to
Musically, not lyrically in this one.
lyrically this was not his best, but like you have to take up a guitar. You have to take up in order for you to understand like how mind-boggling it is that Dave Mustaine and all these other people are coming up with these amazing riffs. You have to yourself be a guitarist and be a metal guitarist and see how hard it is to come up with original, truly heavy shit that isn't derivative of something else. It is so difficult. And so for him to be able to pull that off constantly all the freaking time, the guy, he's one of the greatest, man. He's just unbelievable talent. Anyway, I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of "this has nothing to do with the song" comments,
Well,
but
people aren't even going to listen to this long. We're about to go in for 45 minutes.
yeah.
All right,
guys,
this
for a long
is
review.
a 9.8 for me.
This is a 9.8. I agree. I probably would have given it a 9.9 or a 10, but I missed like 11 seconds of the song because
I told you to
I
stop
was
unplugging that.
authentically rocking so hard.
Making that thing loose.
Yeah.
So then you lost
but
it.
Hey,
you can't headbang.
Look, no.
Can't do it.
No, the entire reason I'm doing this channel is to be introduced to music that
And you better stop unplugging that
moves
thing.
me emotionally.
Stop unplugging that thing every time.
So, you guys got an authentic moment from the big homie, from your boy Vincent. It is what it is. And you got a free little rap verse. Get your whole Section 8 like welfare. None of you guys even know what that means, but here we go. Vin out.
Sorry, out.
Gone.